Колеги, будемо продовжувати наш робочий день. Я до слова запрошую пана Євгена Horoshcaka, виконуючого обов'язки директора державного підприємства «Ukrzaliznychpostach». Ми будемо говорити тему державних закупівель.
Now we'll be talking about public procurements for Ukrzaliznytsia. Yevhen Horoshcak, acting director of Ukrzaliznychpostach. We will be talking today about the first steps made by Ukrzaliznychpostach. Within the last half a year, we'll be talking about the problems that we faced, what we managed to address, what we failed to address, what are the prospects for Ukrzaliznychpostach. Briefly, for those who do not know our company, what we are, the company is dealing with centralized procurements for Ukrainian railway. What do we procure for them? Fuel and lubricants, spare parts, materials for the repairs of locomotives and carts, and one of the functions of Ukrzaliznychpostach is to sell all the waste, all the scrap metal that is about 9 billion hryvnias we spent for a year for procurement, 1.5 billion spare parts, 1.7 billion the materials for the railways, and 200 million hryvnias equipment. What problems are we facing? That is very low level of competition among the suppliers. The business reputation of the company was ruined, and that was related to very bad payments in the past. There were different facts related to transparency of tender procedures, very inefficient internal procedures of procurement and the policy, the low level of organization of logistic processes, quite untransparent processes related to procurements, and the level of supplies for the previous year. This year, for example, we feel a big shortage of different materials because they were not supplied in the previous period of time. What we managed to do in a brief period of time, talking about transparency, we introduced online broadcasting of opening price bids and tender proposals, and also online broadcasting of procedure of acceptance, the decision on who has become the winner of the tender. On our website, you can see the archive of absolutely all tenders starting from February, taking into account the situation when one of the video recordings was lost. We are now duplicating information in the server, and we have archive. On our website, we are duplicating information which we place on the website of the Ministry of Economy, and we publish absolutely all the documents related to this or that tender procedure, and anyone willing can visit our website and see the history of a tender, starting from the tender announcement, executing the contract, and any changes related to price or anything. You can see everything that was happening with any tender. We have started to restore our business reputation. We have introduced financial planning. We now have a task, and we are executing it, that all the payments on signed contracts implemented exactly on time. We are trying to expand competitive environment. We had 3 or 4 mini conferences with the producers of different goods. We listen to what the problems they have. We discussed the preparation. We discussed how the tender documents should look like. We discussed what are the financial expectations, what are the terms of payment, and so on. And we have made first steps on simplification of qualification and technical documents. Just first steps, then this will be developed. And I believe that in a few months, the qualification part and the technical part of tender documentation will be simplified. Briefly about first results of our activities. A few examples. We're working with 2 companies, Interpipe company. You can see figures on the screen. We ensured the transparency of the tender and the negotiation procedures after acceptance. We managed to achieve the reduction in price compared to 2014 for wheels on 24% and on bandage by 27%. The price of 2014 for bandage was indicative because de facto bandage was not supplied to railway in 2014 because of different reasons, because of the war with anti-monopoly committee, but the dynamic of prices could be observed. In total, we managed to save about $5 million. Selling metal scrap metal. That is the function which Ukrzaliznychpostach is doing. The volume of sale is about 600 million hryvnias of scrap metal. The scrap metal is consolidated and Ukrzaliznychpostach is selling this scrap metal in centralized way, and we are selling it on a competitive basis. The companies are selling their proposals, and the one whose proposal is best wins. The recommended price is about 3,500 hryvnias. The average price for sale is about 3,700 hryvnias. Interpipe company won the competition with the price 4,442 hryvnias, 46 hryvnias, and that will allow us to earn additionally 119 million hryvnias. What happened? Why has the price become that? We changed one simple thing. Previously, the competition proposal of potential buyers were coming in the open way, by fax, by email. We all understand the one who sends the last fax wins. Yeah? Here we changed one small detail. The bids were submitted in closed envelopes, and that was broadcast online, and you see the result here.
And now, favorite topic for everybody, the diesel fuel. The tender is for 100,000 tons. The last price was 22,000 hryvnia. The winner suggested 19,000 hryvnia. If we compare against the last contract, we receive additionally 3 million hryvnia per day, around 90 million hryvnia per month, so the amounts that we saved again are huge. The prospects for the future tenders on diesel fuel purchase, we mentioned this many times, and here in this center at round table we promised to introduce the competitive pricing for this segment. And the day after tomorrow, we plan to announce the new pricing formula, which was coordinated with the Ministry of Economy, with the Anti-Monopoly Committee, and with major oil traders in Ukraine. And we expect that either today or tomorrow we will announce the tender. We believe that for 2016 we will introduce a new filling principle for all our locomotives up to a certain level, when the truck filler arrives and fills up the locomotive till some specific level, which we will unify for all the locomotives. Another novelties which we plan to introduce. Currently, we are privatizing the Ukrainian railway company, and we are currently discussing the structure, the functions, the articles of association of this joint stock company. We plan to do this within 1-2 months. And our role there will be to offer the best European practices of public procurement and try to implement them for our company, keeping in mind our own experience and lessons learned. Yesterday, upon the infrastructure of upon the initiative of the Minister of Infrastructure, we have made the first step in this direction. We suggested to create a steering committee or supervisory council which will supervise the privatization of the company, and in particular the supplies and logistics during this period. This committee will deal exclusively with procurement. Now about our suppliers. As of today, due to various reasons, our relations, our marketing research and good practice of relations with suppliers unfortunately do not exist, and this is the objective for the future. Building up the logistics processes. Unfortunately, we cannot say that creating the stock, normal supplies, normal supply chain, unfortunately does not exist in the company. And here our objective is to build up the uniform logistics vertical, including fuel supplies, distribution, etc. The next aspect, implementation of the ERP system. It exists, but it works extremely inefficiently, and it does not match the requirements which our people have speaking about steering committee, supervisory committee, or how you like to call it. It will comprise 5 people, a representative of mass media, a representative from any reputable NGO in the anti-corruption area, then an expert in procurement. We may invite either Big Four or other experts. A representative from businesses. We are thinking about a representative from European Business Association, and the 5th member is still under consideration. Either we will invite a representative from EBRD or from other international institutions providing assistance in either administrative reform or in public procurement, for example. How we imagine the work of this council. We have already the design, how it should work. That is, we have to get to allow access of all the supervisory council members to all tender deals before their results are announced. They will get access to information, to tender documentation, to commercial offers, to all sorts of certificates, and other backup documentation, and check whether it was prepared correctly, diligently or not. And also we plan that the members of this council will participate in analyzing, in implementation, and in supervising of all the procedures which we will have finally in place. Then all the department leaders in our company, in our logistics company, when they are selected and appointment, they will have interviews with the members of this council. Only our purpose is to have a working council. It's not just a PR step. This is an intention to make it workable. Social company TV, social country TV. The first question is about Donbass and annexated Crimea. What were the damages to your company made by the turmoil in Donbass and annexation of Crimea? Whether you purchased something from Russia? I will explain our relations with Russia, with Donbass and Crimea. Unfortunately, calculating the damages in result of events in Donbass and Crimea, it's not so easy. Our railway logistics company originates and comes from the Soviet-style company, and we have part of our enterprises and facilities in Crimea, in Donbass, and we had partners in Russia. And today we lack them very much because we do not have the enterprises to substitute them in Ukraine. Speaking about the railway switchers, we have only 2 of them in Crimea and in Dnipropetrovsk, and the only analog could be in Murom. in Russia. We do not purchase any goods, neither from Crimea nor from Russia. Russian companies even did not submit their bids to tender. Even when we receive offers from dealers saying that they have their offices in Ukraine, they offer something. There was an information that they have purchased screws and nuts for 72 million of hryvnia, while one of Ukrainian companies was not allowed to participate in the tender. You may review the online broadcasting of this tender procedure. Unfortunately, the company whose offer was 30 million cheaper was late with submission of all the documents. They supplied all the necessary documents, not an hour before the envelope opening, but just before the moment of the envelope opening. And unfortunately, I cannot understand why this happened, because that company had 30 days for proper preparation. Thus, we had to choose the more expensive company. We try to negotiate a cheaper price with them, unfortunately unsuccessfully by the moment, and we haven't purchased anything by this very moment, because we hope that we will negotiate cheaper price. The question which you asked raises the problem that quite often enterprises have sufficient time for the preparation to the tender. Usually this is 30 calendar days, and they do not manage to prepare all the. The next question about favorite topic. On June 15th, Vice Prime Minister Vashevsky blamed your company in stoppage in procurement of fuels, which almost have stopped the railway, the trains. How would you comment? We should separate two different problems. We had a stoppage in fuel supplies, and currently we carry out the internal investigation, and the stoppage was not related to Oka company, which participated in the tender for fuel purchases, and actually they participated in tender. We had a lot of consultations. I was present at both meetings of the tender committee, and I would prefer that assessment of all the tenders follow this way. It was not a unanimous decision. It allowed a lot of discussion, open discussion.
I cannot comment on the words of the Vice Prime Minister and the information that he received. NTN TV channel. Back to tenders. The investigation made by my colleagues from ZIK TV channel Is there really the situation when you do not allow other companies to participate in the tender, requesting the documents which are not mandatory? And another question, it was about moving the time of tender. How often does it happen? Because of what? And was it necessary? As of today, maybe about 30% of tenders are moved. What could be the reasons? First, any supplier, irrespective of the brand of the name of the company, can request to move the tender because of some technical reasons. They need explanation on technical specifications. They request, like it was in this case, to review some terms of agreement. We can move the tender. We did it several times, and I will explain why. We have many narrow specifications which artificially narrow the number of potential suppliers, and every day we're working on expanding specifications to attract more suppliers. When we finish this work, we move the tender. Yes, we do move about 30%. And the first question, please clarify it. In the program, it was said that you requested about the documents which are not mandatory for participation in the tender. Whether the documents are mandatory or not, that is said by the tender committee. And the list of the documents is quite clear, and it's in the law on public procurement. The law on public procurement does have some documents which says the customer has the right to request these documents as the rule, and many will confirm that this right is used. And it's not because we want to push someone out of the tender, but unfortunately there are too many controlling bodies in our country, and they interpret the law on public procurements this way. You had the right to request the document, you did not request it, and that is why you have the negative result of a tender. Another question from NTN. You can ask after the briefing one more question. New Saboz. You mentioned that now there is a service investigation related to the tender on fuel procurement. Have you found those who are guilty? What's the result of the investigation? And will any prosecutor's inspection be used? You did not understand me correctly. The service investigation is going on because it's not related to a new tender. It's because the supplies were, because the fuel was not supplied. As stated by Ukrzaliznytsia, there were some technical problems related to our document circulation. Unfortunately, I cannot tell you more. We do conduct investigation, but I will not tell you. Will not give you any sensation even after the end of the investigation. Fact newspaper. In the ministry, they explain that the attack on Ukrzaliznychpostach is related to the fact that the spheres of influence are being divided between the presidential administration and the group of Prime Minister. You are part of the group of the administration of the president. Mikhail Belin is your manager. I am not, I do not belong to this or that group. Talking about Mikhail Belin, I read about that. Do you know this man? Yes, I do. Mikhail Belin found me and recommended to this position, and that is we don't have any relation. That is, these are all the relations. I am in contact, but let me explain. What do you mean by we're in contact? We can meet every day. We're communicating at the first stage of my work, and then I work in the structure of Ukrzaliznytsia. Okay, we'll wait you together with the member of the supervisory council and with the mass media representatives. Our next briefing is in 2 minutes.